this time. Come on, come on.
Oh, you want us live on YouTube, man? You're really going
live on
all the way
YouTube.
in.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I guess we're streaming, so we can just like jump into this. Yeah. So you'd posted in the group saying that you are trying to figure out how to generate more trials for quick mail.
Well, that's one avenue we could use. So I've been practicing open management book with the team. You know that. And it's going super, super well. And one of the things that sort of like bubbled up is, why don't we try to, you know, increase our number of trials? Because we got a certain amount every week, and it's kind of reasonable. We got a good conversion rate. Things are looking good, but because we're pretty weak when it comes to marketing and getting known. In fact, that kind of pissed me off yesterday. I was looking at the, I think I entered something like cold email software, you know, best cold email, not even best, just cold email software. And then you have obviously the typical marketing pages with the 7, you know, best cold email software, the 12 one, the 21, whatever. And we're not in those ones. And I was like, what the fuck? And I see also some of my competitors, which I hate, and some of them that are like really inferior product still being there. And I was like, that's not fair, man. That's not fair. Anyway, so that would be one way of, you know, getting more trial, is getting more exposure. And so I think that's it. That's basically where it's at. And I'm just thinking about like different ways of generating trials. Some of the stuff worked in the past. We're thinking of reviving some of them. Definitely like webinar, but again, webinar is one side of the puzzle. You still need to be able to promote it. So, you know.
Okay.
Life is tough.
And remind me about like your email list again, because there were a couple things that when you were throwing out some ideas, it sounded like you guys were more thinking about sort of one-off sort of ways of like increasing your trials rather than like as much like ongoing stuff, and you want to be thinking about like both, right? Like how many you'd mentioned like emailing previous customers, so what's your email list like size? Because didn't you say you like cleaned it at some point and got rid of a bunch?
You put it live and recorded. I'm never going to share any numbers. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Just give us a ballpark or whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it matters if you share, but
I do open book, and all my team knows financials, but I just know it outside of the company. That's
okay.
It.
Ballpark, like or like okay. So
you're playing Nathan Latka on me. Screw that. I'm leaving.
Like for like the email list that you have, is your current email list pretty much only your customers, or do you have a bigger email list?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a fair question. I take this one, Amar. Yeah. So basically, you remember during GDPR, we just basically cleaned up everything, and so we lost like thousands and thousands of people, and that was like probably a silly move, honestly, with retrospect. I think it comes down more to sort of like cleaning up. When you have like a room of plenty of crap all around you, at some point you're relieved of like getting rid of everything, instead of actually, you know, just spending the time to actually put them into good segments and good places. And so the easiest solution was just to simply like, hey, let's clean up pretty much everything. And so I re-engaged with my list at that time, but I didn't really have a strategy to actually keep them engaged anyway. So overall, I shouldn't have done that, full stop. So now I have like a much smaller list, but it's still pretty much people who express an interest at one point or another in QuickMail. We don't have that many opt-in stuff. In fact, if you go to quickmail.io/goodies, you can access one of the most interesting documents and valuable document we have, which is a list of all the CTAs that you could use, like more than 100 CTAs that you can use at different level, different type of cold email you're doing, and different type of commitment. And we don't even have an opt-in email on this one. It's just like, here we go, here's the link to a Google Doc. There's plenty of things that we are not really doing and leveraging that we should be doing. So you can consider our list to be pretty much people who already have a close relationship with us. Either they try the software or they try the software.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So definitely one of the easiest things that you could do is you could just send out an email blast to everyone that's not currently using the system, and you could pick up some like trial signups like that. Yeah, so I mean, essentially.
Hey, hold on. I want to come back to one of the questions you asked me, basically, so you understand the background and the context here. So I told you, like, I'm sharing, I'm doing open book management with my team, which means we were discussing the number and so on. And so the number of trial that bubbled up, I don't think this is our ultimate sort of like number to go at, but it will create what we call a mini game. And a mini game are a great thing. It's like we rally everyone behind. It's like, hey guys, let's try to double or whatever people feel comfortable trying of reaching out, and then just going at that. So you could see it as a sort of like sprint of maybe 2 quarters or 1 quarter, sort of like, let's see if we can do something there.
Yeah. And so, but you want the team to really be focused on, on like ongoing improvements and stuff, right? And so one of the ways that you can do that is like figuring out how to convert more people. So, So there's a couple of ways like to do this. Is if you want to increase the number of trials, you can increase the conversion of the number of people that hit your website to becoming trial users, or you can increase the number of people that actually hit your website, right? And so one of the easiest ways that you could that you could increase the conversion percentage would be to put an email capture somewhere earlier on your actual landing page, right? Because right now you don't really collect their email, right? That's what you were just saying, that like on the goodies page you're giving away stuff. Yeah. So if you were to put something like a pop-up, God forbid, a pop-up on like your home page, and you collected the email before people actually got like a little bit further like in the process of like evaluating the software, it would allow you to nurture those people and to bring more of them back to the website to eventually sign up, right? So a lot of the people that are going to hit your site, let's say 5 out of every 100 people that hit your site sign up for a free trial. If instead of just those 5 people and just getting their contact information, if instead you get 15 people's contact information and only 4 people sign up, during like that time, you can now nurture the remaining 11 people to get a couple of them, right? And so that would be a really easy win, and particularly because you already have quite a bit of valuable content, right? You have your book that you sell on Amazon. You've got a really valuable podcast. I mean, you could even do something as simple as
awesome courses, actually. We just released a new course, actually, that probably no one knows about, but it's an awesome course.
Okay. Is it free or is it paid?
No, it's actually, we plan on selling it quite a lot, and then we're currently like discounting it like crazy, but it's still like $297 or something like that.
Yeah. So if you want to pick something, obviously it's free, right? To get people started. But if you just said like, hey, enter your email address and we'll send you the top 5 episodes with expert Jack, I'm forgetting his last name, and QuickMail CEO Jeremy, along with like 6 resources to help you like implement cold email successfully. People enter their email address, you send them a bunch of resources that essentially educate them more on cold email and on QuickMail specifically, right? And if you put something like that, like I said, just a simple pop-up software, that's just like the 80/20. You don't change anything on your website other than adding in a little code. So that would be a really good way. Let's see. I was going to say checking your follow-up like process, but that would be after they've already signed up for a trial. Do you have an idea of where your traffic is currently coming from? Because you're not doing too much paid advertising or anything right now, are you?
No, I dropped actually the paid advertising. I didn't like that. I guess what would be useful to probably brainstorm here for the last maybe 15 minutes we have is discussing the different ways of doing things, because some of them excite me and give me energy to think about, and some of them I'm like, holy shit, I don't want to do that. And typically, modifying the website, creating some content is one of those things like I dread doing. I just don't want to do it. Right. So nurturing campaign, of course, it's very easy for you. And But for me, it'd be like a drag. I'll be like, sure, I will do it. I can do it, and it probably would work, but it's not my energy.
Okay. So can I ask, what are you excited about then? Maybe let's touch on some of the things that you're like energized about doing, and maybe how we can maximize those for you instead of me making suggestions that you feel resistance towards, you know?
You're right. This is exactly it. This is feeling resistance to. There are some stuff I really like doing, but they are long games. So I think our podcast is really starting to pick up, and it gives us like a really good branding. And whether they're using my competitors or not, a lot of people are listening to us, which is like an awesome platform and a great way of building a relationship with people. So at least you stay at top of their mind. So that's great. I like doing that. Especially I like doing that because I do it with Jack. And this is so fun. It's another friends like you and I, I mean, we could jam every week, and I'll be like, well, okay, we do jam every week. And I like that, this is really fun. This is what gets me motivated and so on. So I could imagine doing potentially another podcast, more like classical type of podcast with my target type of audience, like specifically, lead generation agency. And that could be okay. Could be, not sure. The other thing that I was thinking about, like for trials, is like I mentioned last time, affiliates. There's something that I really don't like about affiliates, but the last affiliates result that I gave you is actually pretty good and decent. I'll be okay to pay that, right? The only issue is that there's a lot of legality, involved into it, which actually really bothers me. It's like, there is money laundering laws here in Switzerland. I don't know about the US, but here they are. And so it's very difficult to just, give money away to someone. It's, you have to sort of like be able to trace, be able to know who you're giving the money to and so on, because they're not an entity or they're not a legal entity as a company. So there are some annoyance in putting in place an affiliate programs when I'm living in Switzerland. So that's slightly minorly annoying. I don't think it drained myself too much energy because I kind of like, talking to new people. So that's really cool. But at the same time, I don't think it, fill me with energy either. So it's like one of those things like I'm half on it. What are some of the other things I was thinking? So obviously we got content to drive my traffic. We got guest posting, which I'm not gonna do. I even like have someone to do the post for me. So it's just I'm not gonna do this posting.
One thing just quickly is, I think that for most people should find their best way of creating content and then should focus on that and should build promotional systems around that. So I think that for you, based on the conversations that we've had in the past and everything, and based on the results that you're already getting, podcasting seems like it's the best way for you to put content like out there, right? That you already have like a good podcast. The problem.
And I could do a video one, like sort of like what you're doing at this stage. So that would be cool.
You totally could, right? Like I'd actually want to jump on this conversation and to like record this and like, stream it live on YouTube because, I realized we were going to have this conversation anyways. And there's a lot of conversations that I have that are like this, talking about different things. But one of the things for you right now, based on what you were just saying, is I don't think that you're even touching, like you're barely scratching the surface of what the podcast can actually do for you, because you don't seem to really talk about it or promote it. And so I know that you don't like doing newsletters and stuff like that, but you really should have some sort of newsletter system set up so that someone on your team can send newsletters or can set them up, to be like automated. That, I just think that even right now, you could just pick out, let's say, the top 3 or 5 episodes from the podcast that if
I like that. That's a great idea. Just put it on. Hey, you know what? At some point I moved things away from Drip and put them into, we put them into Hatchbook, but then I didn't like that. And so we put them back into QuickMail. I told you, we'll wait until we got a marketing software or whatever. And I never actually contacted my user more than since it's already on QuickMail. Because I'm in QuickMail day in, day out. So I just basically just launch a quick campaign with just like a quick word, and off I blast it, and off we go. And I realized that I'm actually using my own software much more than I was using, Drip or Hatchbuck or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it may be a hack for me is instead of, trying to have this other system that other people are using, is simply actually bringing things into my own system that I'm using and like to use. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Yeah.
And the cool thing of that is I got already segmenting. So I can effectively select quickly my tags and then have a conversation specifically for those people. And it works great. Like I sent last time, how do you guys are prospecting? And so I got like great of reply. I got like too many replies to even, be able to reply to. So my inbox is actually at the moment a bit flooded. I got one person asking me like, hey, if you're asking me to be consulted, I want to be paid for it. And obviously I just unsubscribed this person. That was easy. But yeah, maybe this is this, but it still won't actually increase the number of trials. It will just increase my chattiness or exposure.
No, but
you're right. I mean,
so,
I'm really bad at promoting my podcast, for example.
I'm gonna challenge you on that though, because marketing is a very, very holistic kind of thing where like the more people that know your name, it's going to help you in a lot of ways. And so like getting more people listening to the podcast and engaged with you and Jack as experts is going to have a lot of big benefits like elsewhere in the business, right? That I don't differentiate too much between promoting the software versus promoting the content that helps our customers. Because both of them help our customers.
Let's put it the other way. Let's put it differently, is that I have no control over how many trials I will get. I can't forecast that based on doing podcasting, for example. I can't tell you like this week we're gonna have like about like 40 trials based on XYZ. I don't know.
The only way to really do that is paid advertising, and that's
exactly
why
that's one way.
Advertising. That's well, but there aren't really any other consistent ways. You can like project stuff, but like there isn't really.
I beg to disagree. If you're doing outreach. I could use my own software doing outreach, and then therefore, I know that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I should
know
really
that every
do
20
that.
people you reach out to. Yeah. No, you really should. Like, there's no reason. Like, I mean, honestly, you should be using cold email to pick up new clients constantly, if for no other reason than to just be the expert on cold email, like marketing and like showing people that you're actually doing it.
Do you know the funny thing is that I got tons of people being like super massively successful with outreach using my software, and yet I use my software for inbound mostly.
Yeah.
Isn't that ironic? That's
annoying. Yeah. Oh, actually, hey, I've got another good suggestion for you. Look into doing a case study on really successful customers, because that's something that I know that you absolutely love your customers.
That's true.
And I think that you'll be really energized by seeing how someone is successfully using it. But a really well-written case study is better than a sales page and better than a cold email all day long. You could take that case study and then put it into your like PS for cold emails that you then start sending out using QuickMail, right?
Yeah.
PS, I used QuickMail to send you this email, and here are the results that Dan got, doing X, Y, and Z, with a link to just an awesome case study, right? That's one I think would be right up your alley,
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Yeah, and like for us, for ZenMaid, we have 8 or like 10 professionally written like case studies, either like me spending 2 weeks writing them, or we've paid other people to write really good ones, like we've got well designed, like all of that stuff. And we use that for our Facebook like retargeting. So all of our current customers will occasionally actually see a case study featuring other successful customers on like ZenMaid. And then anyone that like hits our website but doesn't end up signing up for a trial, we'll see case studies. You can use, if you have a really good case study, you can use it so many ways across your marketing.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Yeah,
cool. That's some good ideas.
Trying to think. Yeah, I would say, I mean, the biggest win that we've talked about here to me is just send out a couple more emails using quick mail, whether that's asking previous customers or your entire audience to just sign up for another trial of quick mail and let them know like why now is a great time to do that. Because for example, your customers are sitting at home in their home offices reading email more than ever, right? You can back it up with some of the statistics that you've been like sharing, right? You know, open rates, like stuff like that. And then, yeah, just like, I think that you really underestimate how powerful it can be when people look up to you as like an expert for one thing or another. And I think that you sort of get that, and that you do a really good job, and that you are like the expert on deliverability and on these things that like we've talked about. But the fact that you never tell your audience that you're doing these things, I think really holds you back, right? Because your audience are the ones who are the most likely to like really be your champions, right? Like they're the ones who are more than likely to share it, right? To let their friends know about it, you know? And so, yeah, I just think that your numbers there are already really good, which is a sign of like the quality that you and Jack are putting out there. And like, you know, you're doing a disservice to your current customers by not.
I know, I only got like 24 hours in a day.
Jeremy,
my time is
you're actively
limited
hurting your customers by not sharing this. How could you?
I know. In fact, that was funny because I did have some time. I did set aside an afternoon to actually just dig into the data, and that was fun. I found like lots of very interesting things, and then we did like a webinar on COVID based on that, because I was just looking at the stats, and I thought like, Jack, we need to let the people know this is pretty interesting. I just don't have enough time to do that. Also, the team is growing now, so that's getting better. Nice. I do have more time. Yeah, Juliana's doing great, and so she's starting to pick up speed. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, you got to go in just a minute, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, last thing then that I will challenge you on, because this is something that works for me. You've probably heard of it, but Parkinson's law, where like if you're given like a set amount of time to do something, then you'll stretch the task to fit that amount of time. Just literally set a time limit for yourself and just say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes and send out an email to my list. And so like, for example, with the podcast episodes, just find the top 3 podcast episodes, send your entire list an email just going, hey guys, you know, I almost never write to you guys about like the podcast, but a friend told me to do so. Here are the top 3 that I recommend listening to if you've never listened to it before. And then you just link to the 3, and then you just sign it J. Don't even put your full name, just sign it J, and then just hit the send button. It's really easy. You don't have to make it any prettier than that. And like people will actually like read that, especially because you don't email them often. They'll probably go and listen to a couple of those, and people will probably thank you for sharing. And it'll take you like 15 minutes.
I'm almost crying. It's beautiful.
I know. The amount of money that you're going to make people with one click of a button, Jeremy, is magical. You should sell a course.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, thanks a ton. I see you soon, and yeah, let's jam again next time. I think that was good. I think we only scratched the surface. There's already a few nuggets of gold here.
Okay. Awesome. Cool, man.
All right.
I'll see you Monday.
Catch you later.
See ya. All right, guys, Amar here. Thanks for watching. If you're actually watching this, hi, Josh. Hi, Mom. I'm not really sure who's watching right now. If you guys are interested in seeing some more of this stuff, drop me a message on Facebook, which is probably the only reason you'd be watching this, or on Twitter. If you go to American Dreams on Twitter, I'll link to that down in the show notes or something like that. Go ahead and shoot me a tweet and let me know who else you want to have me on. You want me to have on the show in the near future, and I will try to do so.